I just call that pennies anytime you go against the, the rib like that. And I'm going to include some greens. And that's good for today. And I'm going to get those started. Just a quick stir fry. Little bit of fresh ginger. My handy dandy ginger grater. Little salt and pepper. And it's all coming together nicely. Fries are almost ready. And that's about all it takes. It doesn't take much to cook this at all. We want to keep the vegetables crisp and the greens nice and bright. So I'm just going to use that as the foundation of this dish. Lay that out. Heat up my sauce. Let's see how our fries are doing. Almost there. All right, let's pull these guys. Starting to get nice and brown. Now the seasoning trick to this is salt, pepper, and sugar. I like to use a little bit of sugar because the yuca has a nice sweet taste to it already. And I'm just have a little confection sugar here. I'm just going to toss these up a little bit. And once again, when they're sweet, there needs to be spicy, and so it needs to be seasoned up good with pepper as well. Turn my sauce off. I'm just going to load these up right over the greens. And get my triggerfish fillets. Oh yeah. This is kind of a fun way to prepare triggerfish, which is so abundant here in the Gulf Coast. And the way that I would finish it is take my salsa, make sure it's nice and spiced up the way you like it. Put a little bit of salsa on the plate. Actually, I'm going to load all four corners because it's beautiful as well. And awesome flavor combinations. And then I have a little bit of soy sauce. It's actually a little reduction, and I'm just going to go over it just a little bit. And then I'm going to finish it off with some of my fried rice stick, which was just fried just for a minute or two in the fryer. Actually, a moment or two in the fryer. It takes about 2 or 3 seconds for it to come up. And then I have a little bit of my coconut sauce, which I'm going to put on top of that, which makes for a real nice Caribbean style dish. A little bit of sprinkle of some cilantro, and maybe my little nest here of rice stick. And there you have it. There's my dish, my triggerfish dish. I'll see you in a minute. I'll come back and do my other dish for you. There's so many great seafood items and fish available on the Gulf Coast, and I wanted to share with you another dish I was going to do today, which is with yellowfin tuna, which is readily available on the Gulf Coast as well, off the Gulf Coast waters. But in addition to tuna, you can find mahi, grouper, snapper, bonita, mullet, pompano, amberjack. The list goes on and on. Snook. There's some really great fish that comes out of the Gulf of Mexico. And in addition to the fish, there's also lobsters that we can get around in this area, is spiny lobster and the shovel-nosed lobster. And I couldn't get my hands on a shovel-nosed or a spiny lobster today, but I did use a Maine lobster today. And I took the lobster and I steamed him for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then I took all the shell off the lobster, and this is what we came up with. I have a tail with its claws and the joints that are intact. So what I wanted to do is show you this salad that I wanted to make today. And it's a pepper sear tuna. And I just put a little oil in the pan, make sure the pan is really nice and hot. And I put some cracked pepper on this tuna. And I double cut thick this because of the way that I want to slice it. So it's not like a normal steak that you would see at a restaurant. It was a double cut, and I cut it, and then I cut the loin in half for this purpose. So I'm just going to turn it up as high as I can. And it doesn't take long. In our restaurants, we have a lot of people that like their tuna rare, almost completely raw. And with a good quality tuna like this, it's not a problem whatsoever. So it's our pleasure to cook the tuna rare like this. What I'm going to do now is start my salad that I was going to do with this. And it's very simple. I'm going to start with some chopped up Napa cabbage. And I'm going to add some avocados. A little bit of cilantro. Some sesame seeds, black and white, some red bell pepper, just cut into strips. Checking my tuna. It's got a beautiful brown color already on one side, and that's what we're looking for. A few more strips. Sesame oil. And you really have to be careful how much sesame oil you use because it's very, very potent. A little bit of rice wine vinegar. I always add a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to add a little bit of fresh ginger too. Big Asian flavors going on today. And my tuna is searing up beautifully. And I'm going to do that side and turn it over and do that side. And that's about it. That's as much as I'm going to cook it today for this presentation. And I'll lay this out, let it cool. Now I grabbed another pair of tongs, and I'm going to go ahead and toss this salad. And it takes a little bit of time to get all these ingredients mixed up and blended well. So bear with me. And I'm going to throw a little bit of green onion in there too. Now, a big part of this dish is the presentation, as well as the combination of lobster and tuna, fresh tuna. So I'm going to take my salad, and I'm just going to stuff it in this ramekin. And it's time for me to use my hands. I'm just going to push it in there for this presentation. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my platter and invert it, holding on to it, and then turn it over. I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute. Now it's time to put the tuna dish together. Let's start with the tuna. Turn it around here. And I'm just going to take my slices off here. And we're going to fan this out around the salad in a beautiful way. And I've made this dish at the Seafood Grill before, but not with the tuna. So next time, I'm going to make it with the tuna when I go to the Seafood Grill. So if you can't see what I'm doing, I'm just shingling it around the salad, which is still in the mold. Very good. And that's probably enough tuna for this presentation. So I'll put this off to the side. Then I'll take my lobster tail, and I'm just going to make medallions. This lobster has been cooked, and it's beautiful and it's tender. Now, I never said this salad was inexpensive to make. There are a lot of good ingredients on this salad. Now, the orange that you see is the roe. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's beautiful and it also tastes excellent. And I'm just going to move that around a little bit. And then I also wanted to shingle out some avocados, because I have avocado in this recipe already. Let's see how I want to do this. And avocados are another tricky one. You can find the Florida avocados, which really aren't quite as good as the California avocados. However, they do work well. And I'm just making a beautiful presentation here. Now that I have the basics, the foundation of my plate, let me just center it just a little bit more. I'll unveil the salad. That helped keep its shape. And now I'm just going to dress it up with the remaining lobster. Try not to let it tumble. Here we go. There we go. Then I would take a little bit of sriracha, which is the spiced chilies, and just maybe do a little design on the plate, keeping it simple. Some sesame seeds, and a little bit of fresh chives. And that's my tuna salad, my Asian-style salad with pepper-seared tuna and lobster. I hope you enjoy it. My suggestion for a great wine pairing with my dishes would be this Washington State Fumé Blanc, which has a great balance of herbal and citrus flavor going on. And it would pair up with the melons, the papaya, and the mango, and the cilantro going on, as well as the rice wine vinegar and the sweetness of the lobster in those dishes. So I highly recommend this wine. Hey, thanks for watching Flavors of the Coast, and join us again next week for a very unusual Cajun specialty dish called the turducken. And we'll see you next week on Flavors of the Coast. Bye-bye.
Support for Flavors of the Coast is provided by Jansen Quality Construction, family-owned since 1997. Jansen Craftsmanship. Jansen Quality. Jansen Value. Jansen Quality Construction, remodeling specialists serving the Gulf Coast. The Canandaigua Wine Company. Introducing fine wines from Covey Run and Columbia. Canandaigua, quality wines for the enjoyment of everyday life. Kesco, your restaurant equipment source in Northwest Florida for more than 20 years, providing cooking and refrigeration equipment as well as design, layout, delivery, and installation services. Lamar Advertising Company, a leader in outdoor advertising since 1902. And by For the Kitchen, your one-stop source